Members of the Shreveport City Council gathered near the scene Sunday afternoon to pray and ask the community to lift up the family affected. The slain children had their whole life ahead of them, Council Chair Tabitha Taylor said through tears. This is the result when someone snaps, Taylor said. So I'm going to ask the community, along with prayer, with every mental health consultant that is out there. This family and this community needs you. Now, this was stated hours after the incident was reported, and I'm unsure if they had all of the information at the time, but to be very clear, he didn't snap. Now let's just go through the series of events. This took place across 2 homes early in the morning. There were 10 people shot. 2 of them were adult women. 8 of them were children. All 8 of the children are gone. Of the 8 children, 7 of them were his, 1 was a cousin. This occurred before 6 a.m. in the morning. He shot a woman on Harrison Street, then he headed home to West 79th Street, and that is where all of the children were gunned down. There was another teenager who had non-life-threatening injuries, and they had fallen off a roof. Where does a roof come in? Well, apparently another child was found dead on the back roof. So it looks as if 2 of the children had managed to escape the home, and they wound up on a roof. But one of them, he followed them and shot them down. The other one escaped and is still alive, but again, they have injuries from falling off a roof. Of the 2 women who were shot, they're still alive, it looks like. One of them was his wife, and the other one was his girlfriend, and he shot his wife in the face. So this is a man who was cheating on his wife. They're saying he snapped, right? He snapped. He snapped at one house, shot a woman there. He drove back home to his house with his wife and the children. Then he snapped again and shot the wife in the face. Then he snapped multiple times and shot the children in the home. He chased down at least 2 of the children to the roof of the home. He snapped again, shot another child, and then the other child managed to escape. So he's been snapping all over the place. Then he snapped again and carjacked the person at gunpoint, and he snapped again and then led police on a chase. You don't just snap and do all of these steps. He was well within his right mind when he did this. So miss me with the he snapped nonsense. He didn't snap. Haunted by dark thoughts, struggling with mental health problems, and stressed about his relationship with his wife. Earlier this month on Easter Sunday, he called his mother, Mahalia Elkins, and his stepfather, Marcus Jackson. Miss Elkins and Mr. Jackson said in interviews that their son sounded despondent. They said they could hear his children playing in the background during the call. Mr. Elkins called them through tears that he wanted to take his own life. He told Mr. Jackson that his wife wanted a divorce and that he was drowning in dark thoughts. We now know what those dark thoughts were. I told him, you can beat stuff, man. I don't care what you're going through. You can beat it. Then I remember him telling me, some people don't come back from their demon. Easter Sunday, a few weeks ago. He didn't snap. And recently, Mr. Elkins' mother and stepfather had felt uneasy about their son, even as he appeared to signal some hope. He shared a prayer on Facebook this month, began with, Dear God, today I ask you to help me guard my mind and emotions. That man did not snap. Y'all gotta stop the mental health narratives when it comes to a lot of these men. They aren't suffering from mental health. They're not snapping. They're not in distress. They're not depressed. Right? Let me be specific. I'm sure that they could have been dealing with depression or whatever was going on. But a lot of this is not because of the world is just too much for me right now. A lot of the stress that they have in their lives is stress of their own making. That goofball in Virginia, that was stress of his own making. Nobody told him to harass those women. Nobody told him to do that. And he knew the potential consequences of his actions. This is another instance where a man knew the potential consequences of his actions. He knew you were cheating on your wife. That is why your wife wanted to divorce you. And you know that if you cheat on your spouse or your partner, that there is a high probability they are going to leave you. And you still take the risk. He took the risk of cheating on his wife, and he knew the possible outcome. And then when the outcome eventually came, and he had to deal with the consequences of his actions, instead of him dealing with the consequences of his actions, he decided he was going to take it out on everybody. He decided he was going to hurt the girlfriend. He was going to hurt the wife. How dare she? How dare her? And he was going to hurt those kids. He took all of his emotions that he was feeling, all of his dark thoughts, he took them out on the wife, the girlfriend, and the kids. And one of the kids wasn't even his. That's what happened. This is a man who felt that he was losing control. And one of the ways he was going to regain control was by getting rid of everybody. Because if I can't have you, bitch, nobody can. And I mean nobody. When y'all are divorcing men, I know in certain states, especially in the South, it's a lot more difficult. Y'all gonna have to do it from a safe location. It is, especially if you have children, it is not worth your life. And it is especially not worth the life of your kids. I don't care what the laws stipulate. Y'all really got to start thinking about it. Does the house matter more than my kid's life? Does the house matter more than my life? What matters to you? Okay? If your life and the life of your children matter to you, and y'all want to leave your husbands, especially if your husbands have had issues with control, you have had domestic violence issues, or any other thing, y'all need to start exiting the home first and then issuing a proclamation of divorce. It is not worth your life. Y'all are really going to have to look at the law. Y'all are going to have to look at your finances, and y'all are going to have to start making more calculated moves when it comes to divorcing these men. She wanted a divorce because he was cheating on her, and he decided everybody has to go. That's what happened.